Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about the hardest Chaos God curses in the new expansion for Vermintide 2, the Chaos Wastes. And we're going to do it in the form of a tier list, and I am going to rank, in my personal opinion, what I think is from the easiest up to the very hardest curses. So, without any further ado, here we go. Starting off in D tier, I have a Slaanesh curse. This is called Glory to Greed. This is the one where if you kill certain enemies, an orb will appear, right? And then when you do some damage to the orb, various items will fall out of said orb. It could be coins, it could be like ammo, bombs, potions. Sometimes it's a barrel or even a fire barrel, which can hurt a little bit. But for the most part, this is a pretty beneficial curse to run into. You can farm coins, you can farm loot, you can do lots of stuff with this one. So I think this is probably the most favorable curse, which is why it's down in D tier. Also down in D tier is a Nurgle curse, and this one is called Skulking Sorcerer, and this is basically just the one where you get chased by what is essentially a dark colored life leech, and he follows you around, and if you're not paying attention he can snag you from behind, and all you have to do is shoot him a couple times and he's gone for like 3 minutes or whatever. He doesn't really play a huge factor in the expedition, so I think he's pretty easy personally. So down in D tier, yeah, why not? That's all the D tier I have. So bumping up to C tier, I've actually got a Zeech curse. Now this one is called Crystal Egg, and basically you have 90 seconds to destroy an egg or a monster will spawn from it. And that sounds kind of like it might be dangerous, but really it's so much time. It is pretty much way too much time, honestly. It should probably be more like 45 seconds or even a minute. 90 seconds is plenty of time to be able to not only find the egg, but also do enough damage to it that it explodes and does not spawn a monster. This is also potentially a beneficial one, depending on how you look at it. You could let the monster spawn, kill it, and farm coins that way. A lot of work for very little reward, I think, but still a fairly easy / beneficial curse to run into. So C tier. Also in C tier is another Slaanesh curse called Unquenchable Thirst. And this is the one where you take damage constantly, and not only do healing items heal you, but just the various potions that you'll find in the Chaos Waste do heal you as well. One thing to note, if you do have a Grail Knight on the team, and they're dropping strength potions, you can drink those. Those will heal you as well, which is kind of nice. But I don't think this one's too hard. I mean, if you're not paying attention, you can't find a potion. Yeah, you could die. You could get real low, maybe get hit by an enemy or something, and then you die that way. Like, there's the possibility of like you could die, but it's really not that bad, I don't think. So I've got it in the C tier. Moving on up to B tier now, we have another Zeech curse, and this one is called Twin Blight. Enemies have a 1 in 4 chance, that is a 25% chance, of splitting into a weaker enemy type. So essentially kind of like a not as bad twins mode from the weekly events. The difficulty comes in the randomness of it happening. So as you move up in difficulty, the more enemies you have, this becomes more of a dangerous thing. I think it's probably right in the middle in terms of difficulty. I don't think it's overly difficult. I don't think it's too easy. I think it's probably right there smack dab in the middle. That's why I have it in B tier. Also in B tier, a Nurgle curse. This is called Miasma of Pestilence. Essentially, it's the one where you have the torch and it creates a little bit of a bubble that protects you from the poison gas clouds outside. And if you step outside the bubble, you gain stacks of a curse that lowers your health, kind of like what's in that one weave type, which lowers your health unless you stand next to that glowy thing. Sorry if you don't have Winds of Magic, you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's the same thing pretty much. It just lowers your health periodically, very slowly, and if you go back into the area, you get the stacks removed, and henceforth your health is returned. Another B tier one for you is our first Khorne curse of the day. This is called Blood God's Fury. Certain enemies buff the ones around them and double their health. So a challenging one for sure. I think Khorne's probably one of the harder gods to, have curse your location. But this is probably his easiest one, I think, because all it does is increase health. It's not like it increases the damage they do, the stagger resistance or whatever. It's just the health. It doubles their health. Kind of annoying. It can be a pain, but I don't think it's really too bad. So all these are in B tier. And we have one more B tier, the final Slanesh curse as well, called Baleful Empathy. And this is the one where if you take damage and you're kind of too close to your team, they'll also take the same amount of damage that you take, which is quite annoying, honestly. This is probably one of my least favorite ones to endure, but I don't think it's really all that hard. It kind of depends on the skill level of your party, right? Are you a party that sticks really close together? Are you a party that gets hit a lot? Or are you a party that is able to successfully fight and whatnot and survive when you're more spread apart, so you're not sharing damage with each other constantly? There's a way to deal with this one, which is why I don't think it's that bad. Even though it's super annoying, when you are together, there are ways that you can deal with it, which is why I have this and all the others right in B tier. However, that's it for B tier, and there are only 4 left. We're getting into the really good ones now. The first one in A tier belongs to Papa Nurgle, and that is called Infested Foes. Basically, certain enemies are kind of highlighted in an aura of noxious gas, and when they die, they spawn a big gas cloud. So, when there's 1 or 2 or a couple enemies, and that's not so bad, But when you're playing on like Legend or Kata, and you're in the Citadel, and you have those constant waves coming at you, there's poison gas clouds everywhere, and it's awful. It's horrible. You're gonna need a potion of poison aegis to survive, because holy crap, that is a really tough one. Pretty much the only way to counter it is to run away from it or drink that potion. And it does lots of damage. It covers a big area, so you can get hit by it multiple times. It's just a very deadly and dangerous modifier, and it's a ton of fun, but very hard. Also up in A tier, another corn one for you, Skulls of Wrath. Enemies have a chance of dropping a skull totem that explodes when they die. And let me just clue you in on something here. If you're in that little aura, when that thing explodes, say goodbye to like half your health. Yeah, it's that much damage. It's a ton of damage if you are caught in the explosion of this thing. You do have a couple seconds to kind of get out of there, and you can see the little circle where you will be affected by it. But if you are caught off guard by this, it's a punishing curse. So we are now down to our final 2 curses, folks. The S tier curses, the 2 primo top tier hardest curses that you could possibly have the misfortune of running into in a Chaos Wastes expedition. First one belongs to Tzeentch, called Bolt of Change. This is the one where a circle appears, right? And kind of like what happens in Twitch mode, the lightning will strike, except if it hits you, not only will it damage you, but if it hits enemies, it'll just change them into something random. So you could have like a bunch of clan rats. Clan rats are not too bad and you're fighting them, but you don't kill maybe, and there's maybe like 10 of them in there. They get hit by the lightning. They can turn into like a gun rat, a chaos warrior, 2 assassins, 3 hook rats, and whatever else. It could be anything. The danger of this one is in its randomness, and it only gets harder as you scale up in difficulty because there are more enemies. I would hope I would never get this one in the Citadel. I would be pooping myself with fear. Holy crap. This one is probably one of my favorites, but again, I respect it, and it's hard as hell. Our final curse today, and what is my opinion the hardest one overall for everybody to deal with, is called Blood Tornadoes, a corn curse. Lovingly nicknamed by people that I've talked to, Cornados. This is the one where these little blood tornadoes will just kind of appear out of nowhere, right? You'll have like a very brief second where you'll see where it'll spawn, and it'll shoot up, and it'll just kind of move on a set path, and they'll keep going. They'll keep, they'll start all over again, and they'll do a ton of bleed damage to you. My god, do these things hurt. And they suck. They're everywhere. They're all over the map. They spawn all the time. You run into like that little barrel event, where you have to take 3 barrels and dash across the side. You just have like a constant blood tornado, a giant one right in the middle of whatever arena you're in. It's horrible. These things are pain, and they're suffering, and they kick my ass just about every time I run into them. So guys, that's my list of the hardest curses. In S tier I had Korn's curse, Blood Tornadoes, Zeech's curse, Bolt of Change. In A tier I had Korn's curse, Skulls of Wrath, Nurgle's curse, Infested Foes. In B tier I had Slaaneish's curse, Baleful Empathy, Korn's curse, Blood God's Fury, Nurgle's curse, Miasma of Pestilence, Zeech's curse, Twin Blight. In C tier I had Slaaneish's curse, Unquenchable Thirst, Zeech's curse, Crystal Egg. And down in D tier, I had Slaaneish's curse, Glory to Greed, and then Nurgle's curse, Skulking Sorcerer. Thank you all very much for watching today's video. If you liked what you saw here, consider subscribing to my Wet Magic channel, liking the video, leaving a comment, possibly even joining my Discord. Link will be in the description down below. I thank you all for your time. Let me know what you think are the hardest and easiest curses to run into in a Chaos Waste expedition down in the comment section below. I am very interested to know and would love to hear from you guys. As always, have a great day.